Gary Vaynerchuk in 2025. The future of Garyvee. So, one of the mediums that Gary is investing in heavily at this point, even though he says it's a few years out, is voice. And he's going to be well positioned for that. Right now he's at 1,000 employees, he says, in a $200 million agency. By 2022, he could be at 5,000 employees and one of the top 2 agencies in the world, because there's a huge programmatic shift from offline to online. I mean, there's still so much television advertising, there's still so much print advertising. In the next 3 to 5, 7 years, however long it takes, that's going to massively transition to digital, and Gary's poised to be the leader in that space. Now, Gary is kind of like an octopus. He's got his fingers in everything, and it might seem like he's unfocused, but he's developed teams at scale that can manage that. So in terms of his personal content, he has a team of 35 just doing that. I anticipate that by 2022, it'll be a team of like 200. We're talking about the law of exponential returns, and I believe that he talks about buying the New York Jets. I predict that before he buys the New York Jets, or at some point either before or after, he will own like a Snap or a Twitter, because he knows how to leverage those platforms to the maximum, or a LinkedIn, maybe not LinkedIn because they got bought by Microsoft for $26 billion. I don't think he'll have that much money, but he will own or have a substantial share, not as like just an individual investor, but maybe even a controlling share in some major platforms. Now, the other thing he's working big on is what he calls the nostalgia machine. He doesn't really use that term, but he wants to bring back all the brands from when he was a kid, or at other times, and reinvigorate them based upon the machine that he has, where he knows how to build brands. And I think that's going to be a huge thing for him also. He's gotten back into baseball cards. He's still into wine. I think that the platforms will always shift, but I think Garyvee will probably stay with the ad agency for a while. I'm trying to think what he would do after an ad agency. What makes sense for him? Let me think about this for a second. After an ad agency, what would he do? How long would he stick with an ad agency? How long are ads going to be relevant, or the most important things? Well, as we get into the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, VR, blockchain, either he's going to have to adapt these new mediums to advertising, which I'm not sure exactly how he's going to do that. Right now he's in voice, or he's going to have to switch industries himself. So I predict that by 2022, he'll have come to more of a fork in the road, where he will either have to give up an ad agency to go into one of these other areas, or he will have to, in a more intensive way, beyond voice, be looking into IoT, blockchain, artificial intelligence, and applying them to the ad agency that he has.